Over the years, good progress has been achieved in advocacy for gender equality. From these advocacies, the world and even Nigeria have witnessed positive results. More girls are now in school, women are now occupying key positions both in public and private sectors. But the struggle is far from over, as gender inequalities persist and in large scale. Sexual exploitation and discrimination are still big issues. The United Nations observes the International Day of the Girl Child, October 11, every year to press on the rights of the girl child and highlight inequalities that exist. Adolescent girls have the right to safe, educated, and healthy life during their formative years and as they mature into women, to groom and develop their potentials as workers, entrepreneurs, political leaders, and so on.
So today our focus is on raising political awareness in the girl child. A very good morning to you and welcome to the program Midweek Connect. My name is Ufuma Esegine and Agatha.
As always, I am Agatha Egwari Ojo. A very good morning to you. Good to be back and
Yes,
welcome back to the show.
It's good to have you back on the program.
It's
Yes.
good to have, that long time of rest.
Yes,
I had quality time with my family.
You really
and
look very relaxed.
yes, I hope it stretches for a long time anyway. But good to be back here and thank you for joining us on this edition of the program this morning.
Yeah. Midweek Connect is a program that comes to you from the stables of Nigerian Television Authority Benin Network Center, and it is a program that has different segments. We have the segment that we like to call the main course, and that is the discussion segment. Our guests are already in the studios. We're going to talk about the girl child today, International Day for the Girl Child, and of course we have the segment where you can call, ask questions, share your thoughts with us, and be a part of the program. We also go down to the streets to find out what the people think and their ideas and thoughts about the issue for today. And as always on the program Midweek Connect, our Kickstarter curtain raiser is the news tidbits. Agatha, news tidbits.
All right, Ufuma. Now, torrential rainfall witnessed in some parts of Benin metropolis Tuesday evening has wreaked havoc on NTA Benin Network Center building, corporate office headquarters on TV Road. The storm which accompanied the rain blew off roofs of the right wing of the building, leaving the conference room and other offices at the mercy of the rain. Staff members tried to salvage some office furniture and equipment from the flooded offices. Now, the deplorable condition of Sapele Road has immensely affected socio-economic activities on this corridor and has also impacted on travel time. Some activists Tuesday blocked the failed portion of the road, preventing movement of travelers. They said they will remain there until an intervention. Joy Igbo was at the scene and will fill us in.
The road remains in a very dead and deplorable state. Several protests have been held, series of promises have been made, yet there is no singular solution to ameliorate the plight of Nigerians plying this road, both those from the states, those interstates, and those from other states using this road. We are calling on the federal government to immediately, without hesitation, come and fix this road.
Reps Issa loquitos, meaning fast speaks for itself. This road has been there for the past 2 years now, like this, uncared for. This is an eyesore, federal road for that matter.
I dey come from Delta State now. I no see road pass, no road to pass. I need to trek from ROCC, cross down here to this place, even for bypass self. Just imagine.
The hold up here now is taking almost about 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours before we get to where we are going.
Our Governor of the state, Godwin Obaseki, has inaugurated a 5-man committee led by Emmanuel Omozuhiome into the Edo State Audit Service Commission with the task of proving comprehensive and in-depth audit of funds, revenues, expenditures, assets and liabilities of government. Governor Obaseki also inaugurated Professor Faith Osadolo as the Solicitor General, Permanent Secretary, Edo State Ministry of Justice, and Ozavize Salami as Executive Chairman, Edo State Universal Basic Education Board.
accomplish, the desired goals. So that is one of the reasons why these laws had to be reenacted and stronger provisions put in the laws. And a commission, an independent commission like yours, has been set up. And from the law, as you know, not even the governor can stop your work.
All right, Foma, that's the news tidbits. Did you witness that rainstorm yesterday?
Well, I was at the office here at the Duwawa, so I really didn't get to see the rainstorm, at the TV road, but from the visuals I can see.
I was there. We were actually preparing for 9 o'clock news, and it was like in a few seconds everything changed. Roofs blowing off and all of that. It wasn't a good sight at all.
It wasn't as well.
It wasn't.
I'm just
most
wondering.
of the offices, that's the ones, most of the staff had closed for the day. So for the offices that we could manage to open, that's where you saw those damages. I'm sure this morning now, before they will try to recover some of the things that,
very
was
sad.
Bad. Very sad. Very, very sad. All right, we'll be taking a short break. When we return, our guest will come in, and of course we'll start the course for the day, the girl child. Stay with us.
It's exciting, it's captivating, it's reviving. Guess what? It's Praise Vibes on NTA Benin Network Center. Join us every Saturday at 6 a.m. and a repeat broadcast every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Extreme praise and worship is what we do here.
For sponsorship and advert placement, please call the producer on 0803-953-0689 or contact the marketing department on the numbers on your screen.
Come, let's spread the gospel through praise.
Coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, is an infectious disease that affects the respiratory system. Symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, shortness of breath. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia or breathing problems. More rarely, the disease can be fatal, but that's mainly among older people with pre-existing conditions. The virus is transmitted through direct contact with respiratory droplets from an infected person and by touching surfaces that are contaminated. People should maintain at least 3 feet of distance between themselves and people who are coughing, sneezing, and have a fever. To prevent the coronavirus infection, wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds using soap and running water or alcohol-based hand rub, sanitizer or gel. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing. You can also use your elbow when sneezing or use a tissue, then throw it in the bin immediately. Avoid crowded areas. Anybody who shows symptoms of coronavirus should visit the hospital immediately. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Benin Network Center.
Do you live in Aduwawa and its environment? Or you need a conducive and open field in Aduwawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremonies, family or corporate events in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduwawa is the place for you. NTA Benin Aduwawa has a large field for all your other events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters, TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art, fully air-conditioned, ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set to ensure constant power supply. We also have the NTA Pavilion for all your outdoors events at the same venue. Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venues conducive and highly secure. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your event live. And above all, you can air your event on our award-winning programs like Events and Style. Wow! What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
Coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, is an infectious disease that affects the respiratory system. Symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, shortness of breath. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia or breathing problems. More rarely, the disease can be fatal, but that's mainly among older people with pre-existing conditions. The virus is transmitted through direct contact with respiratory droplets from an infected person and by touching surfaces that are contaminated. People should maintain at least 3 feet of distance between themselves and people who are coughing, sneezing, and have a fever. To prevent the coronavirus infection, wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds using soap and running water or alcohol-based hand rub, sanitizer or gel. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing. You can also use your elbow when sneezing or use a tissue, then throw it in the bin immediately. Avoid crowded areas. Anybody who shows symptoms of coronavirus should visit the hospital immediately. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Benin Network Center.
Do you live in Aduawa and its environment? Or you need a conducive and open field in Aduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremonies, family or corporate events in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduawa is the place for you. NTA Benin Aduawa has a large field for all your other events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters, TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art, fully air-conditioned, ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set to ensure constant power.
All right, thank you for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, the program is Midweek Connect. You haven't missed much. We are just about to start the main course for the day. That's our topic this morning. We're looking at the girl child. We're focusing on raising political awareness in the girl child. A quick reminder that we are streaming live on our YouTube channel, NTA Benin. Wherever you are, you can also be a part of the program. Our guests are here. First, we have Dr. Uyigwe Patience Usaherume. She's Director Child, Ministry of Social Development and Gender Issues, Edo State. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
All right. We also have Reverend Dr. Nosa Aladeshelu, Founding President, African Women Empowerment Guild, Project Coordinator, Social Age Democracy in Nigeria, and of course, author Questions Girls Ask. Good morning, ma'am. Good to have you join us.
Thank you.
All right. I read this book when I was in school, secondary school. They made it compulsory for all the girls to have it. Questions Girls Ask. Yes. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you.
All right. Before we continue, let's take this background to launch our discussions for today.
With the theme of this year's International Day of the Girl Child, Digital Generation, Our Generation, key players believe that ICT is the new world and that the young adults can achieve a lot only if they embrace digital world. Again, it will equip girls and increase their global awareness of gender inequality, access to education, nutrition, legal rights, as well as violence against women and forced child marriage.
Our children, we're already teaching them to be digital compliant. If you look at most of our young children now, they're selling in internet. They're using Instagram. They can sell shoes. They can sell all their wares. And you see a do job too, which is part of our programs. They've been training a lot of young persons on skill acquisition, on digital economy. So for this year, it's like a reaffirmation of what we're already doing in Edo State. Every child, whether you are learning handwork, whether you are in the secondary school, formal or informal sector, we should be digital compliant. Being digital compliant, you're going to achieve a lot. You don't need to leave the confine of your home to run your businesses. You can do it, e-commerce and all other stuff. So if for Edo State, let's continue on this path and improve on it. And Nigerians, we should not be analog. When changes come, let's embrace the changes. And I speak with respect to the teachers because they are to drive this, digital education and digital economy.
International Day of the Girl Child is declared every October 11 by the United Nations to reflect the successful emergence of girls and young women as distinct cohorts in development of policy, programming, campaigning, and research.
All right, thank you, Former Okafor, for that background to start our discussions for today. Director child. We hear the girl child. That's a popular word we hear. But for to refresh our minds and for people who may not really know what we're talking about, can you perhaps spell out who is the girl child?
Okay. The girl child is a young offspring with feminine physiques. Girl child, that differentiates them from the opposite sex, the boy. If any child with the feminine physique, the breasts, the earrings, necklaces, the kind of dress they put on, that differentiates them from the opposite sex, that indicates that such a person is a young girl. The girl child is also between the biological age of 0 to 18. And the girl child is a potential leader, nation builder, if empowered or supported. The girl child has the role of the girl child, their potentials and powers cannot be overemphasized. When you train a girl child, you train a nation. But when you train a male child, you train an individual.
Okay, Dr. Lusala, let me come in here. Like she said, when you train a girl child, you train a nation. When you train a male child, you are just training an individual. Can you
Well, you can agree with that so closely, because when you go to every home, what do you see? The mother who has a child, she has 2 children, a boy and a girl. Why she really doesn't mind what the boy is up to. Maybe the boy has gone to go and play football, maybe go and play chess or whatever outside. But she specifically instructs the girl to do certain tasks right at home, building her for the future. So that is why you find that girls grow up to assume very special and responsible position both at home and in society. Unfortunately, this is not well recognized by the larger society. You find, so if you say when you educate a girl, you are actually educating a whole nation, because the welfare development of the nation rests with the woman, rests with the girl. That is why the mother gives her all that long training and long build-up. But for the boys, what do you find? They are out there, playing, and you don't really find it. So that's why I say you people have spent such a long time trying to put emphasis on boy child. But the one that is actually doing the main work, you have left her, behind the door. And this is where we have missed it in Nigeria. Development is having problems decade after decade, all because those who have been given the natural responsibility for developing this country are not careful.
As a man, I want to ask this.
You've been left out, completely left out.
You say the girl child. It sounds like a very new thing. You even wrote a book, and it was not questions girl child ask. So what is this thing about girl child? Isn't that in itself trying to say that the girl child is inferior, so to say?
Yeah, you know what happens? The director has defined whom a girl child is biologically, and that is why I'm happy that she took it way down to 0, because even on the delivery table where a girl child is born, she's rejected. And because she's rejected, have you heard of parents who abandon their wives and their newborn babies in the hospital, all because the woman had a girl? Have you also heard at the beer parlor when a man is not celebrating a newborn in his family because she's a half current, she's along the road, she's all sorts of descriptions? And so you find that men and the society have missed it big time. And that is why the United Nations has drummed the beat on everyone now to pay attention to developing the girl child. The girl child desires and needs the attention of everyone, particularly in governance. Because if we want this country to develop on equal basis, we need to understand that the girl child is alive. She's not a transparent being, you know. And then if you continue to look at how you know that in some homes, especially in the very distant past, family will send their boys to school and ask the girl to stay at home and go to farm and go to the market and go and sell some pure water and all that. So that is because from the family setting, the girl child has been neglected, has been discriminated against. And when these things happen, it just shows that somebody is missing out something somewhere, and the United Nations has therefore brought the attention of governments all over the world to say on the 11th of October every year we must put attention to developing the girl child. And you also know that in recent times, between the boy child and the girl child, who has featured more in the news media about sexual abuses, is the girl child. You know, you can imagine a girl in her adolescent age studying in a chapel, trying to make sure that she passes the JAM exam. Boys went into the chapel to violate her, and to not only violate her, to kill her. You know, so and also in many homes you find that a girl child, you know, suffers all sorts of abuses, even from the father, from the uncle, from everyone around, and nobody's saying anything. It's as if nothing has happened. But if anything had happened to a boy in that family, I'm sure there will be a family meeting. So, but the issue now is the whole world, all the governments in the world, and all of us, all the discussions, even in beer parlor, should be centered around the girl child.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
I want to believe that over the years some progress has been made. Like you were talking about, when a woman gives birth to a girl child, the man is not as enthusiastic, he's not as happy as he should be. But do you think we have witnessed some form of changes over the years?
For now, just like Doctor, she has really emphasized it, and she has explained it to details. It happens even till now. I had a man that called me one day, I think last week, called me and said he has 5 girls, that he wants to adopt a male child. I said, count yourself lucky that you have 5. There are people that are looking for 1. I said, we cannot grant you that request. Just be satisfied with what God has given to you. Appreciate God the more, because people are looking for 1. So you can see the extent. People are going crazy about having a male child, you know, and then the female child seems to be inferior or not relevant to them.
Good.
Well, was pressing.
Pressing. Yes, let me try and admit for a while that some progress has been made in all the advocacies that we have been making, all the cries that will be crying of what the local government, the state and the international governments have been talking about, developing the girl child and projecting women. We have made some progress, but it's like you are dancing on the spot. There's some movement, but there's no development. So well, we want to agree that some women have also shut up somewhere to make sure to bring to the fore the fact that women are as much potentate, have the potential to develop, you know, like the boy child. We have had now almost in every sphere of life we have women who have made their marks, you know, in agriculture, in industry, in the judicial system. Of course, most of the judges in Anambra State and Edo State, they are women. And then you find also in engineering, we have women, we have female pilots. We in governance, we have people like Ngozi Iweala, who's now a top-notch in the international development. We had Dora Akinyuli, who braved who braved the tail to say that we can fight fake drugs in Nigeria, where a terrain that men were afraid to tread. A woman came up and ensure that the proper drugs were being administered to people.
And even in death, her name rings.
Yes, and even in death, her name rings. So we also have had many such women. In teaching profession, for instance, you have mostly women who are headmistresses, who are principals, and in the medical profession too, we have many female doctors, but I'm sure there are very few medical directors as female. There are just a few of them.
I wonder why you keep pointing to Ofoma there. People say, Ofoma, you're in trouble.
So we know that some progress has been made. Many parents now send their daughters to school. I'm a testimony to that. I'm a daughter of a school headmaster who grew up in the village, Urunigbe, and I'm one of the first women to be educated beyond primary to secondary, and I became the first graduate in my community and also in the local government as it were. So I think that many parents have also come to realize that, it is the girl who takes care of their parents in old age, and so they have begun to send their children to school. It's no longer the old narrative has changed for some families. There are now, people are now investing on girls. There are still some traditional families that say, why spend money on a girl? She will soon get married and she will take all the glory to her husband's family. So, but we are using this medium to appeal to such people with that kind of mindset that if you do educate your girl child, you are the better for it in the both now and in the near future.
You talked about tradition.
Sorry, before we continue, let's open the phone lines.
Okay.
Then we'll just continue discussions. The numbers to call 081-4969-3112 and 081-1295-1755. Those are the numbers to call. Shortly be displayed on the screen, so you can call in, make your contributions on the program.
Yes, you talked about tradition, and Doctor also talked about a man having 5 wives and still wanting five daughters. Sorry, 5 daughters and still wanting to adopt a male child. Now, isn't that the problem of culture that we have in Nigeria or in this part of the world? Because the role of culture, that's the way I see it. Culturally, there are some things that a woman can't do. Like becoming a traditional ruler and all of that.
Well, you want to answer to that?
Go ahead.
Okay. There are some communities where women are traditional rulers. In Akure, for instance, before another king is elected by the ruling houses, and the girl is actually either the surviving child or the first child, because in Yoruba land, they don't care whether you're a boy or a girl.
No, but
first child is the first child.
In this case that you're talking about,
yes.
I remember the woman was, or the girl child, if I will use that word, was made a regent. Not just hold fort for the man to come and become the king. But
in some cultures, they won't even accept a woman for a regent. And we also have some queens in Ghana. We have some queens in Calabar, female queens, and these are though they may not hold ranks of power, but at least they are recognized, and they are allowed to attend council meetings where their counterparts, also talking about the male chiefs, also attend. But I know that some very strict cultures, they will not allow a child, a male child, a female child, to become a chief.
Hello, sorry ma'am. Sorry to cut you short. Hello, good morning.
Benin.
Oh, good morning, sir. Good to have you calling.
Yeah. I think the most wonderful thing any sane human being would do is to educate the female child. Society, once it is good, it is a reflection of how good the females are. It is the texture of the quality of the female in a society that determines how good society is. And when society cascades into dystopia, that again reflects how bad the women are. The culture that says, I want someone to carry my name, is a sick culture. When you are gone, you are gone. If you want a name, why not give your name now? Why are you looking for someone who carries your name? And who says that the girls can't carry your name? And again, I think what stops a lady, when you go to marry, you are not a property for the man. He didn't buy you in the market. Why won't you continue to answer your father's name, as it were? A society must grow, the woman will grow. When I was growing up, my father says, I accommodate you between first and 20 positions. my elder sister who did mechanical engineering cried on a particular day when she was returning from school in primary school, and somebody was insulting her, you book paper, you won't read your books. And when they looked at the result, she took 4. Why was she crying? She had 80-something in math, and he said my dad was going to beat her for scoring 80-something. He was to explain. That was the differentiating factor. So it's only sick men who would not. And I'm in love with my daughter, so they confess. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
So,
Mr. Nuruddin just said something. He said, you know, why do women still bear the man's name even after marriage? Isn't that part of the problems that I was talking about, the cultural thing?
He was saying that.
Yes.
Why wouldn't they go to their husband's house even with their father's name?
We have women who are married and having surnames that are hyphenated, you know, and it only calls for the awareness of that person. Not every woman wants to have a hyphenated name, and sometimes when you have when you treasure your family name, you want to carry it along, and so people still identify you with that your family name. Yeah. So there's no crime, but your husband must be taken into consideration in having your name hyphenated. But the point you are now making is that the final surname is still the man's name. But that's the culture here.
That's what I was talking about.
In Nigeria, is
it a Nigerian thing or?
It's a Nigerian thing. In Ghana, a child answers the mother's name. In Ghana, the child answers the mother's name, the mother's family name. But in Nigeria, the child answers the father's family name.
Okay.
So this thing is not universal. That's why we call it gender.
Now, I want to ask this question. You know, what are the questions the girl child asks?
Yeah. Should I tell you some of those books? Because I remember some of them, but I won't tell you later.
Okay. I'm happy that there was a book I compiled. Having addressed some girls, and I saw that there was something disturbing girls that they were not able to resolve, both at the private and at the public level. And by the time I saw the volume of the questions, I decided to write a book, Questions Girls Ask. For some time in Edo State, it was a textbook for counseling, but not now immediately, but I'm sure we are pushing for it again. So the questions girls ask, they ask about their sexuality. They ask to understand their body. They ask to understand what they should say when they are approached by the opposite sex. They ask the meaning of don't touch. Don't let anybody touch you. They ask, you know, all sorts of things that usually, you know, parents don't even find the need to explain these things as the child is growing up. And I remember that when that book was published, the mothers, you know, they caught it with such enthusiasm that I said, I mean, this book has been, you know, people have been asking for this kind of thing for a long time. But in actual fact, they will put it on their television set without even telling anybody that the book is there. But by the time the children saw the book, they will read it, and almost in 3 hours, they have gone to the book and they've passed it from one house to the other. So those questions the guys are asking, they're asking that, what is growing up in my body? I don't understand. Do you know that a girl had the fear that something dropped from her body overnight, and she was in a hostel. She could not go to school that morning, and she was there, and the pool of blood was increasing, and the thing it was not stopping. She didn't know what it was all about, and she was crying. By the time the friends found out she was not in class, they came to find out where she was in the hostel. I said that I did not do anything. I did not do anything. And then she was trying to show that something is coming out of her body, that she knows that she didn't know what it was. She had not heard exactly what happened, only to find out she was experiencing her menstruation for the first time, and nobody had told her. Her mother had not told her. Nobody had told her what to do and how to organize herself in a hygienic manner that you know, she will still be intact and she can carry on with other activities for the day. And those are some of the questions they were asking. And usually, when parents give girls guardians, please don't allow anybody to touch you, and they don't understand what that actually means. Is it that I should not even sit, I should not even go near, or nobody should even touch my shoulder or touch my body?
Hello.
So those are kind of the questions they are asking.
Hello. Good morning. Please, your name and where are you calling from?
I'm coming from Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please, your name and where you are calling from.
Okay.
Okay.
My name is Joseph.
All right.
I'm here and listening to your conversation.
All right, thank you.
I'm interested in that matter. Are you with me?
Yes.
It is wrong for any man or woman to conclude that a man is superior to a woman. Are you getting me? In so many ways, there's no time in any society where there's no woman, that society is incomplete. A woman take up their parents more than the man. The man is just a drop and pass. Women take up their parents to the last day. So I'm the opinion that woman is even the best. Since 1960, the Nigerian government has been governed by a man. We record 0. But if a woman can be made a president of this country today, believe me, you get a pass mark.
Thank
you. So that is my conclusion.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. He just said something.
Men just like a jump and pass.
Yes. Well, he just said something and you know, that's the question I wanted to ask the doctor. You know, he said questions girl child ask. Now, the girl child eventually grows into a woman, and you know, I look at political sphere today, like the caller just said, and we don't see the girl child that has turned to a woman now. Don't the girl child, don't they ask questions about why they don't see their own gender much in politics and ways to go about being in politics?
Or is it an issue of you are to be seen and not to be heard, even though we know women are the majority of voters?
That is part of the worries that the girls carry about to adulthood, and they begin to wonder, you know, why don't we have a female governor? Why don't we have a female president? Why don't we have a female chairman of the local government? And these things are they are also a kind of concern to the girl child growing up. And I'm so happy that this year's International Day for the Girl Child, 2 girls were celebrated. One in Kano State to become the governor for 1 hour. And I want to thank the governor of Kano State for that. And I also want to thank the Minister of State for Education, who also made a girl to be a Minister of State for some hours, you know, in Abuja. So that is bringing to the knowledge of the girl child that they can also occupy that position in the future. And we were worried, but in 1999, when they were entering into this democratic era, we were worried that how can we catch up with the large gender gap of more men, you know, although the women were very many in campaigning for votes and also going to votes, but at the end, when the votes are all cast and they are dividing the dividends, you find that mostly men get everything. You can also find that in the House of Assembly today, that there is no woman in the House of Assembly today. So, and we realized in 1999 that we needed to do something. That was my organization, African Women Empowerment Kit, and we said, the only way to try and bridge this gap is to go to the school age of young girls, to make them, embolden them to become active in politics, because you find that many of the women who were taking part in politics then, they were just serving tea, they were just dancing, they were just clapping hands. So the one way to change this gap, maybe in 20 years' time, was to ensure that girls were having courage to take part in democratic activities in school. And that is why we raised up that project, School Age Democracy in Nigeria. And in that project, many girls became speakers of their students' representative councils. And that project was in 100 schools in Nigeria, with in 8 states. And therefore, in that particular project, if you go to Benin Secondary School, for instance, now, and also Word of Faith Secondary School, you find that they have changed their PTA to PTSA. It was that project that brought it to the fore, that students can also be part of the PTA to have a voice in what the parents are deciding concerning them and their school. Parents, teachers, and students association. So that is what you find there. That was the impact of that project. So today, more and more of the girls are getting interested in politics. You find some girls, at least about 4 years ago or so, a girl became the deputy president of SUG Uniben, and also in some other, tertiary institutions, girls are beginning to also vie for positions in school, because if they don't get used to that politics in school age, they are going to also decline to the situation of their adult mothers are just staying and sit down, look, and let the men take everything. So I'm sure that in the not distant future, we are going to have more women taking part and getting the gains of the democracy, after election, unlike what we have in the recent past.
Okay,
so,
Director, she just talked about catching them young at an early age. Is government playing its own part in this direction?
Yes, government is playing its own part. Let me just add to this, to what Doctor have said. Like this present administration now, that just running the commissioners. If you look at the gender
equation,
I think there's a balance. So I think everybody, the awareness is already there now that there is need for women to be highly represented in key positions. That's one. Then to catch them young, we have the child right law, and in the child right law we have 4 cardinal rights: the right to survival, the right to protection, right to development, and right to participation. I'm talking about the right to participation, that every child has right to participate in decision making that concerns them. There's that opportunity given to them. Then again, we have the children parliamentarians, where children they are being assessed, given exam to rights, whether male or female, and the deputy parliamentarian, deputy speaker of the children parliaments in Edo State is a female, very vibrant and eloquent, intelligent girl, while the speaker is also a male. But I think the deputy speaker is more active.
Now, do you reach out to these children in schools? Are there form of maybe clubs government has set up in schools, especially secondary schools, to groom these young girls?
Well, I'm not really in the school, but when we have sensitization like this International Day of the Girl Child, we usually go to schools for sensitization to create awareness on the need for them to position themselves, encourage their parents to sponsor and support them in their education, so that they can become a change maker, they can become an entrepreneur, an innovator, and so on. So that's it. I am not in school anyway, but I think there are other activities put in place, like the do best training now for e-learning education. Every child now encouraged to the use of e-learning, online learning in education.
There are democratic activities in schools which the NGOs have introduced to schools. The government may not practically ask schools to do democracy activities, but my NGO, like I said earlier on, the African Women Empowerment Kit, we introduce a project to schools where one day in a year there will be election, and different positions will be competed for by both boys and girls, and in particular in a mixed school, and different positions, and children go out to canvass, campaigning, doing posters, doing rallies, and encouraging their mates to vote for them, and that encourages the children to begin to take part in politics. This is what this is what happens in the wider society. So it is replicated in the school environment to ensure that children also have a voice to participating in the governance of their schools. That is why we call it school age democracy. Now, from that system, prefects are no longer appointed you know, from backdoor, from any hindsight of understanding of the principal. Prefect positions are contested for and competed for, and through democratic process, and this has made prefects to be more elected than appointed. Usually, we have come to prove from research that children respect the leadership they create than the one you impose on them. So you find that in schools that elect their prefects, there is more peace than they enjoy more peaceful environment than schools in which principal or teachers impose certain children on the school population as prefects. So school democracy is encouraged, and we hope that the young people's parliament, the government is promoting, should go down to the school system, not just looking at society and allowing children of the elites become a speaker and become members and all that. Let it go to the grassroots, to the children. Let the children themselves have a voice in electing who becomes the speaker, who becomes the members of the parliament, because that was what the project was supposed to project. But the government saw the value of it at the superficial level and decided to make it a community parliament. But it's supposed to be that in the local government area, all the students in that local government will elect their own members of parliament, and from the local government, the leaders, they will elect their own speakers and members of parliament at the state level, and so also at the national level. So we think that this thing should be taken to the grassroots and not be organized, you know, for the elites and the children of the elites, you know, as it were, so that both the poor and the rich have a voice in becoming part of the youth parliament in the society in all the states in Nigeria. That's what we are advocating, not only in Edo State. So by the time we are encouraging these children to take part in politics in the school level, at the university level, at the secondary school level, even at the primary school level, it will become part of them. At that time, the girls who are capable, because I'm too sure that God did not create a woman to be less than a man. And usually, whatever intelligence, I haven't also heard that the most intelligent intelligent student in Nigeria from the last JAM was a girl, and also the global test for mathematics in the whole world, it was also a girl that won it. So are you jealous?
No.
So what are we talking about?
No,
let's begin to trust the girl child to have the ability.
We're all out for you.
Actually, I am used. My parents have 7 children, and 5 women.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So just
Same
2
with
boys.
us.
So
We
I've
are
always
6,
been comfortable.
boys.
I've always been comfortable in the midst of women. Yeah.
I just wanted to pull your legs in it.
No, but there are some people who still say that the women they're just being lazy. You want everything to be given to you
on a
platter of gold. Okay, because you're a woman. Okay, it must be 10 commissioners. Okay, 5 women, 5. Why don't you? Yes. So why don't you
work for it?
I want to tell you that women are working for it harder than the men. Unfortunately, they don't have any support. Where the male politicians have backups, have political fathers, have people who can invest money in their ambition, in their aspiration. Hardly will you find a rich man or a rich woman coming to say, okay, I'm going to put this money down to make sure I see you. Because you know that politics in Nigeria is monetized, and women don't have that kind of that amount of money, you know, that is required to do all the visitation, to do all the even to buy the form. Women don't have that kind of money, but there are boys who you know this very too often, that young men and young men who qualify to positions even in the House of Assembly, in the Senate, in the House of Rep, even at the council level, at councillors and at chairman of council, they have support, they have backup by men who have invested in that aspiration, who are also expecting dividends. But they can't trust a woman to cooperate in order to sign a contract, to sign a social contract, to sending them money. Sometimes they tell you, even if she's married, that's the more difficulty. Hey, we have to first of all go and see her husband before we see her. And so these are the things that hinder women from gaining open political positions that are also of the juicy type. So these are the things you of course you know that I contested 3 times in this state. First for Senate in 2003 and House of Rep 2007 and 2015. You know, and the things that worked against my gaining it. There was a time in which I brazed it right to the finishing line. by contesting election, you know, and going to the field. But the things that affected women all over the world also affected me. And it's okay, can we trust her? There was a man who told my husband, say, come, we didn't support your wife because we don't know her. We said, you don't know her? But we know her name, we know her face, but we don't know her. And there was something something was talking about, you know, which because I may not belong to the kind of club or the kind of society that they can they can hold me to ransom and say you must do this, must provide this every month. So I'm sure those are the things. Do you know that a woman got a ticket to go to Senate in I don't want to mention the state now. Before what do you call it? When before the ticket got to her, she was already shortchanged, and she was told that well, you are the one that won this election, but we want a man to go to Senate. We'll make you a commissioner. After she won the election, the whole result showed that she won the election. So she said, if that is the level of what you think I am from this election, from what I have done and what I've gained, you know, she would rather not take part in the government. And you can imagine a woman getting to the position, a position of winning the election, and she was asked to step down to become a commissioner, and they give the ticket to a man to go to Senate. So those are the things that women have faced.
But there are some arguments in some quarters that women are also part of the problem, that they won't even be there to support a fellow woman.
Yes, that has always been the conspiracy theory. And usually they have also gotten more women to buy into it and to begin to sing the song. Women are women's enemy. Women are women's enemy. Men are men's enemy too, but nobody talks about that. Men are men's enemy. Nobody talks about that. So it is true that usually when you have a woman as a head of a unit or head of department, you know, she will not respect another woman in that department, or because she's also a woman. Usually women find it tough to work under a woman than under a man. We've heard of those experiences. And also in election, we have also found that when even a woman comes out and she manages to get the ticket to run for a particular position, many of the women will not vote for her. And they keep repeating to me the regular waiting call that Sarah Jibrin went to contest for presidency. She only voted for herself. Yes, because the women whom we are talking about, just like the men, they have interest in other persons who are either their fathers or their husbands or their brothers or some other male people in their family or in their immediate constituency that they are also interested in. So and usually when they tell me the way we want to do it now, let us go and form one party or a party for all women, and I tell you they were from my own political experience and from what I know about development in Nigeria, that is a non-flyer. It's a non-issue at all. So say, let us open a political party for all women, so that if all the women in Nigeria, we are nearly 50% of the population. If all of us vote for our woman, she will come up. Not all the women will vote for that woman, because a portion of that women population also have their fathers, also have their husbands who are contesting for governorship or contesting for senate or contesting for other positions that they will prefer to go and support than the woman you want to bring her. So it will not succeed the way you expect it to fly. So I think that one thing is for like we have two men who spoke to us we need more male heroes whom we call he for she. We call them he for she, male champions. We need more male champions in Nigeria to support the cause of women, and we need the mindset of Nigerians to change and then we also are advocating that let politics in Nigeria be for the best person who wants to serve the nation, who wants to serve her local government, who wants to serve her state, not necessarily because of the envelope that is there, because the envelope is the problem. The envelope is the problem, because everybody is.
All right, the director, let me come in here. We're running out of time. Let's get your closing remark. What would you say to the girl child, the woman out there?
Okay, my advice to the girl child is for them to stay focused. That's irrespective of the challenges, discrimination. Stay focused. Have a vision. Determined to pursue that goal. Make yourself relevant. Position yourself as a girl child. And when you position yourself as a girl child, you stand to rule your world. You stand to be a change maker. And you stand to be a role model, a pace setter, an entrepreneur, initiator. You rule your world. So that is my advice to the girl child. Face your studies squarely, ask questions where necessary, and don't be distracted by the boy or by the man out there chasing you, asking you for a hand in marriage when you are not up to the age of marriage. That can be a serious distraction. So stay focused and be yourself. You have all the potentials and power to exploit your world.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Nosa. Just a few words.
Yes. I want to talk to the girl child out there who is listening to me. You can be the first female governor of Edo State if you work at it even now.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Nosa Aladeshelu, founding president, African Women Empowerment Guild, project coordinator, School Age Democracy Nigeria, and of course, author, Questions Gets Asked. Thank you also, Dr. Uyigwe Patience Usayerime, Director, Child Ministry of Social Development and Gender Issues, Edo State. Thank you so much for coming on Midweek Connect.
Thank you.
Yeah, here we'll call it a wrap on the program. Love your girls, love your daughters, love your wives, love your mothers. I will see you again next week. Till then, stay safe. Fuma.
Yes, I want to urge all the men out there to be a he for she man. And
thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.